Choreb Beruach, Sword of the Spirit. Interpreted and narrated by Wendy. Jaqara, Leviticus, chapter 14. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and to Aharon, saying, Speak to the children of Yisrael, and say to them, When any man has a discharge from his flesh, the discharge is unclean. And this will be the uncleanliness concerning the discharge, whether his flesh leaks the discharge, or his flesh is sealed from his issuance, it is his uncleanliness. The discharge is unclean. Every bed that he lies upon is unclean, and everything that he sits upon is unclean. Also, whoever touches his bed will wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until the evening. Furthermore, he who sits on anything on which he who has the discharge sat will wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until the evening. Moreover, he who touches the flesh of him whom has the discharge will wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until the evening. Also, if he who has the discharge spits upon him whom is clean, then he will wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until the evening. And whatever saddle the infected one rides upon will be unclean. And whoever touches anything that is under him will be unclean until the evening. And he who bears any of these things will wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until the evening. Also, whoever touches him with the discharge, but has not rinsed his hands in water, he will wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until the evening. And the earthen vessel that touches him with the discharge will be broken, but every wooden vessel will be rinsed with water. And when he who has a discharge is cleansed from the infection, then he will number to himself 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in running water, and he will be clean. And on the 8th day he will take for himself 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, and come before Yahuwah to the door of the appointed tent, and give them to the priest. Then the priest will offer them, one for a sin offering, and the other for an ascension offering. Therefore the priest will make an atonement for him before Yahuwah for his discharge. And if any man's seed of copulation goes out from him, then he will wash all of his flesh in water, and be unclean until the evening. And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation will be washed with water, and be unclean until the evening. Also, the woman with whom the man will lie with seed of copulation, they will both bathe themselves in water, and be unclean until the evening. However, if a woman has a discharge of blood, it will be a discharge from her body for 7 days. She is menstruating, and whoever touches her, he will be unclean until the evening. And everything that she lies upon during her menstruation will be unclean. Also, everything she sits upon will be unclean. Therefore, whoever touches her bed will wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until the evening. Moreover, whoever touches anything that she sat upon will wash his clothes and bathe in water, and be unclean until the evening. Also, if it is on her bed, or upon anything on which she sits, when he touches it, he will be unclean until the evening. Furthermore, if any man lies with her at all, and she menstruates upon him, he will be unclean for 7 days. And the entire bed on which he lies will be unclean. However, if a woman has a discharge of blood for more days other than the time of her menstruation, or if it flows beyond the time of her menstruation, all the days of her unclean discharge will be as the days of her menstruation. She will be unclean. Every bed that she lies upon, all the days of her discharge, are like the bed of her menstruation, and whatever sits upon it will be unclean, like the uncleanliness of her menstruation. And whoever touches those things will be unclean, and will wash his clothes, and bathe in water, and be unclean until the evening. However, if she is cleansed of her discharge, and has counted 7 days for herself, then after that she will be clean. And on the 8th day she will take for herself 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons. Then she will bring them to the priest, to the door of the appointed tent. Then the priest will offer one for a sin offering, and the other for an ascension offering. And the priest will make an atonement for her before Yahweh, for the discharge of her uncleanliness. Thus you will separate the children of Yashariel from their uncleanliness, that they do not die in their uncleanliness, when they defile my tabernacle which is among you. This is the teaching of him whom has a discharge, or whose seed goes from him and is defiled by it, also of her whom is sick during her menstruation, and surely any discharge from a male or female, and of him whom lies with her, whom is unclean.